I've noticed there's a significant misunderstanding about why people pray, why people go to church, and their perception of God. Hello, my name is Eba Valentine Najebem, and today I'm here to address and correct that very misconception that has deeply influenced our logical and rational thinking. Now, if you can't answer these very three questions of why do you pray, why do you go to church, and who is God, then I must tell you that you've been a very religious dwarf, and you've also been constituting a whole lot of problems in this very country and to yourself as well. Now, I notice that a lot of people go to church because it is Sunday and we're already accustomed with the tradition of it is Sunday, we must be in church without a purpose. Now, if you ask the same people, why do they go to church? They can't be able to give you a proper answer. The reason is because they go to church without a purpose, and a life or a journey without a purpose will always yield to nothing. That is the reason why most people's Christian life is always zero. They claim to be Christians. At the end of the day, you see them behaving opposite of what they actually preach. This is why a wicked Nigerian will wake up and ask you, hope say you go church, and when you tell the person, no, I didn't, the person will start feeling bad on your behalf, start feeling pity, even at some point, or even to some extent, even get upset on your behalf. Why? When you ask the person, okay, you that actually went to church, what did you learn? And he would tell you, man, my pastor was on fire. Really? Really, nigga? This is to tell you that people actually go to church as an exercise and not something they do with purpose. And their next line of action is always inviting you to their church. Now, when we ask them, why do you invite me to your church? Their answer is always, come to my church. My church has the capacity to give you light. My church has the capacity to change your life. Now, if your church really has the capacity to change your life, like you said, why are you inviting me to your church and you not changing me? Because I believe that if you're actually going to that church, you are a changed person. Change me. The goal of the church is not to win souls for the church, it's to win souls for God. But the new tradition, the new Christianity today is always telling you to bring people closer to the church, which is not so. The tradition of the church is to win souls for God and not for the church. Now, winning souls for God emphasizes sharing the gospel message, inviting people to personal relationship with God, fostering spiritual growth and discipleship, and emphasizing God's love and grace. While winning souls for the church prioritizes and emphasizes more on increasing membership of the church, boosting attendance, and expanding the influence and power of the church. Now, it will surprise you today that a pastor or a priest or any religious leader would walk onto the pulpit and say the most ridiculous things, and all the congregants will still stay without reacting, without feeling like this is wrong, without asking questions. They still have to take all those things home and consume them. This is because you go to church without a purpose. This is because you go to church without a sense of direction. This is because you go to church without understanding the reason why you go to church in the first place. You go to church because it is already a tradition for you to go to church on Sunday and come back and tell people happy Sunday and ask people why they don't go to church. Now, why do you pray is another question. Now, I've realized that a lot of people pray because many people pray, they already tagged it's a prayer. And Africans do see it as an easy avenue to escape responsibilities. Now, understand that if you abandon your responsibility to face prayer, your responsibility is still there waiting for you. The reason why many of you always complain that your prayers are not always answered, God hates you, you always ask God to forgive you of sins you never committed, is because you are so doubting your potency, you are so doubting your power as a human, you are doubting that ability that has been given to you by divinity to handle things. Life doesn't give you a problem way bigger than you. I notice that a lot of people's problems emanate from denying their own self, not understanding the power they carry, and they resort to praying all the time because they've been told to pray without ceasing. Many of you pray more than you walk. Many of you pray more than you think. Many of you pray more than you create. Many of you pray more than you put in effort. This is the reason why Africa as a whole is like this, because religion is always at the forefront where effort, creativity, thoughts should be. Now, the third one is, who is God? What is your perception of God? Now, understanding that there is a God in existence is another level of awakening. Now, for you to understand God and God's ability, you need to understand yourself first of all. You need to see through yourself. You need to assess your abilities. You need to look at what you actually possess as a human, as a micro-God. Every human is a micro-God. But not understanding that you're a micro-God is why you always pray. You always pray day in, day. You're always fighting to pray. You're always praying. Cockroach pass, they pray. This one, you are praying. You have no job, you are praying. Many of you who are actually jobless today pray more than you actually seek for jobs. What nonsense. It is not in my position to tell you who God is. Understanding God is a personal responsibility. If you want to understand God, you need to understand yourself first of all, harness your power as a human. If you are able to harness the mind, understand that you can do too many things. By yourself, you can manifest things, you can command things to come, you can make things happen. If you are able to understand your power within, you will understand God. So it is not in my power to tell you about God, but until you understand that you, as a micro God, can do too many things other than praying and always waiting for somebody to come to your aid. Now, before you actually get a job in any company, your CV must be assessed by the HR team, and they will check all your qualifications, your skills, everything. Now, if they give you that job based on what you actually wrote, and later on they find out that you have zero of all the things you actually wrote there, you will be sacked. Now, in your CV, if you wrote that you know how to work with Microsoft Excel, and when things that has to do with Microsoft Excel comes, you walk to your boss to help you, you are commanding your sack letter immediately. If you leave your abilities that you have been given by divinity to call on God every now and again, God will always keep mute to you. This is how God works. Now, the reason for this very video is to foster a culture of personal responsibility and accountability, because it's actually crucial to promote a balanced understanding of religion, recognizing its role in providing moral guidance and comfort, while encouraging individuals to take ownership of their lives and actions.